Hi, welcome to Aren't You Crazy, the podcast that flips the script on the struggling artist paradigm. We're your hosts, Tessie and Erin Elizabeth Reed.
Two artistic multi-hyphenates who believe that every person is creative.
And every creative should pursue their passions. Each episode,
We shine a light on our and others' creative journeys along the pathway to personal success.
if living a life of creative purpose sounds daring, then yeah, you could call us crazy.
We embrace it.
And we want to know, aren't you crazy too? No, seriously.
'Cause we are.
Welcome to the elevator of Aren't You Crazy?
We are here today with a very special guest, Marine Assaiante, and she is from Marseille, France. She's an amazing content creator, actress, founder of I Hear an Accent Productions, and she's here with us to talk about how to stay creative when you're a mom, or what tools she has found to stay connected to her creativity while being a parent.
Yeah, hi. Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you.
We're so glad you wanted to join us on the podcast, Marie.
Yeah.
You're like a powerhouse. I've always said this. You just get an idea and you get it done. I saw that with your web series, Check Please. And I'm seeing it right now with your new web series, Mom to Be, which is how many episodes do you have?
We have 69 episodes.
Wow.
It's like 30 seconds episode. Okay, so it's not like a 1 hour thing. But yeah, no, we have a lot. And we shot a little bit before the pregnancy. We shot during the entire pregnancy. And we have a few episodes right after the pregnancy for postpartum, the first early months of having a baby.
So let's back up a little then for our listeners. You actually shot Mom to Be, planned it, etc., everything while you were actually pregnant?
Pregnant?
So I have two boys. I have one who's 5.5 and the other one is 15 months. So when I was pregnant with the first one, I went through pregnancy and postpartum and being a working mom. And it was a lot of emotions, I knew I wanted a second kid. And I was like, I really want to talk about pregnancy and do like funny stuff about but really, I want to talk about all the aspects of pregnancy. So when you start planning on having a child and prepare your body for pregnancy and then all the pregnancy. And I think being pregnant is kind of funny. I mean, there's a bunch of funny stuff. I don't know. I always thought there's like potential for funny. I kind of like just called Elia, was the director for Check Please. And I just told her that I was like, hey, I had this project. I'm not sure when I'm going to get pregnant, by the way, but just so you know, let's get ready because once I'm pregnant, then we have a timeline,
Yeah, a specific window.
yeah, which is great for a project. So like that, you don't have time to think too much. You have to do it. There's no waiting. So yeah, that's how it came out. But like we shot a few episodes, actually the first 7 episodes, I was not pregnant. And then I got pregnant. And so I was like, okay, because we have a few more episodes that I'm not supposed to be pregnant. So let's do that as fast as possible before, it can see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I've seen some of the episodes and they're so funny. I feel like you handle it with so much humor. And also you talk about things that are sometimes taboo. I mean, we're not moms, but we know that there are a lot of things that are not spoken of that you spoke. I remember seeing, a spoiler alert of one of your episodes about vaginal pain.
Yeah. I mean, it's really done for all future moms or women who wants to be mothers and just, because I feel like if you haven't lived it, yes, being pregnant makes you gassy and they thought all the time. That's why I'm like, it's funny, right? But then it's also really true. And then, yes, you're constipated. And it's good to talk about because nobody will say, hey, I had a swollen vagina. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yep. One of my favorite episodes was actually early on in the trying to get pregnant phase where you were experimenting solo, fully clothed, the best positions. And your acrobatics were hilarious. I watched that clip I don't know how many times.
A lot of yoga.
Go check Mom to Be is in Marine's Instagram, and we will obviously share everything with you in the description of this episode. But how do you find stamina or focus with everything that you have going on in your daily routine? Because I know that your older son now going to school, and you have a baby that just started walking. How do you manage all of that and still have the power to remain constant in your creativity and in the quality of your productions?
I try my best, but I feel like once you have a child, then you have to plan a little bit ahead. Like you cannot say, hey, today, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Let's see the inspiration or whatever. I feel like you have to say, okay, I'm going to put that much time and focus on writing. And also, I try not to put too much pressure on myself and say, hey, let's work on something a little bit every day rather than trying to find like 3 hours to work on a project, because it's not happening. I don't have 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I have 30 minutes in the morning and then 30 minutes maybe after lunch. And so I've been practicing that a little bit every day. And then at the end, you get a project or you get something. And same with my morning routine. I do my morning pages because I love that. And then I do a little workout, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And then I do 10 minutes yoga. And then I do 10 minutes meditation. It's just a little bit, but then at least it's consistent. I mean, I need it to be awake and just to start my day. But if I cannot do 10 minutes, then I can do maybe 5 minutes. But even just 5 minutes, I feel like it's still something.
Yeah, I get frustrated with that because I have a certain idea. Erin is also the queen of morning routines, and I'm still finding it. I'm very disciplined with what I need to do and everything. But I've been starting to do a gratitude journal, and I noticed that I bought that journal a while ago. And I see the last entry, and it was like, January 10, 2023. And I'm like, what? I didn't write anything for a full year. I was like, okay, great. It's just how to battle with that 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's constant.
Yeah.
And I find it that if I don't do it like, okay, today I'm going to spend 5 hours working on myself, then it doesn't count.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And then a bunch of time you don't have that much, window. Personally, even an hour window for one thing is too much because I'm working as a producer at the same time. I'm like, I'd rather do like small chunk of things. So I know I can do that, I always say like, don't think too much about it. Just do it. Just do it, And that's why my morning pages, I've been doing that for like 15 years. So it's so in my system that I don't even think about it. I don't question it. I just do it.
Yeah. When you're working in a routine, it's like athletes getting in a groove with their warm-ups. They still go through it and just get it done because they know it's pivotal to maintaining their mastery of the rest of their skill set.
Yeah. And I mean, your routine can change all the time. Like if you're more focused about writing at the moment, then you will say, okay, I write for like 30 minutes. It's hard to find the time. So what I've been doing is just saying, hey, you know what? At 4 p.m. before picking up my son, I'm just going to write for like 10 minutes. And sometimes it's not even really working on the draft at all, but it just gives me idea. And at least, I know I'm giving that time to focus on ideas about writing, or not actual writing, but at least, I think about it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm currently working with the idea of quarterly rocks. So when I look at everything I want to accomplish for the year, let's say, I don't try and work on all of those goals every week or even every month. I'll pick 2 or 3 that I want to try and accomplish this first quarter. And so then it eases the burden on my mind of trying to do everything on my goal list. I'm like, no, right now, January, my goal is get organized in my new space and one other thing.
Yeah.
And so whenever I start questioning myself, I'm like, no, that's not my goal through this quarter.
Mm.
And that's helping me with my productivity a lot.
What I'm doing now is to cut myself some slack. I stopped being so perfectionist about the way and the time that I spend doing things. And if I decided like this year, I need to train my voice on a regular basis because I'm going for a lot of musical theater auditions and I don't have the training of a musical theater artist. Can I do it for 10 minutes a day?
Yeah.
and tell my brain that that's enough, that I don't need to have a master degree in how to position the vowel A before going to an audition.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'll get to the gratitude journal this year, I promise myself.
Even if it's like right before bed, like maybe your routine is an evening routine.
Yeah.
That works.
I'm grateful for, okay, close the book.
Yeah. Or this book, whatever.
I'm grateful for this book.
Yeah. I love notebooks. I love them. I love morning pages, but I understand it doesn't work for everyone. But right after my first pregnancy, I stopped doing the morning pages for a couple of months. And I missed it so much because every time I don't do them, I just feel blurry. I don't know where I am. I just need them to clarify my brain. And for the second pregnancy, I was like, I'm going to keep on doing it, even like the first few months, just because it really helps me.
For anybody listening who isn't aware, we're talking about the morning pages exercise that Julia Cameron describes and encourages in her seminal work, The Artist's Way. It's a highly influential book on how to be a creative in your everyday life, whether that's as a hobbyist or as a professional. And it's just a beautiful 12-week course.
That's
So good.
Yeah.
I've done it so many times. I used to do the course almost every summer.
Yeah, it's an incredible tool and an affordable tool. This is a very good method, and it's really well explained and very digested, really easy to follow. How do you deal with not sleeping? I hate not sleeping. I'm a bear.
Okay, so yeah, I do not sleep that much. I'm tired, to be honest. The smallest one, Victor, has been waking up a lot recently at night. I'm like, but it gets better with time for sure. But I mean, I've never needed so much sleep. So I think that's my luck. Like I'm good with 6-7 hours of sleep. But like my husband, he will need his 9 hours, 10 hours of sleep if he could. I'm like, okay, this is not realistic. Unless you go to bed right. And sometimes I do that. I'm like, when I'm really, really tired, I will put them to bed and just go straight to my bed too and just read a little bit. I'm like, I need to sleep. And then I'm good for another 2 weeks or whatever.
So I'm curious, have you thought about how you're going to explain to Victor that you used your pregnancy with him as like comedic material?
That's an amazing question.
Yeah, you don't see him. He's inside. And then we use him a little bit after for the first few months, but then we never see his face. I mean, we agree with my husband. We don't want to show our kids on social media. So let's just use the back of his face. You can see his body, but you don't never see his face. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. And also a bunch of people told me, oh, that's good. You will have footage of your pregnancy. That's pretty fun to have, like really almost month by month. Like we can see the growth and everything. So I think it's going to be pretty cool to show him at some point. And, when I edit my stuff or like my director did all the editing, but when I do the caption and I work on that, my older son looks at it and he loves it. He's like, oh, mommy, that's you. What are you saying? And the other one now, like he can see me on the screen and he's like, mommy.
Oh, so sweet.
And Marcel, the oldest one day he was here when we were shooting episodes because school was closed or whatever, something happened. So he was there the whole day during the shoot and he loved the process. And I love that for him. We explained to him how it works, like the camera, and he was kind of our little assistant and he was so happy about it.
That's really great to involve them that way in the creative process.
Yeah. He loves stories. He's like a storyteller.
Takes after his mom.
But also Marcel's room is inundated with books. And that's something that I really, if I ever become a mom, I definitely follow your steps in that and like bringing books and stories. And what an inspiration and a wonderful way to also connect to your pregnancy and to your children, right? Through a very beautiful and yet honest and fun way of talking about that moment in your life where you were creating life for them. It's a beautiful ode to being creative as a pregnant person, to be creative as a mom to be.
It's funny you said connecting with both of them because it was really a connection between my two kids because in mom to be, it's my first time being a mom, which it wasn't in real life. But because I had all this experience with my first kid and I was living it with the second one, but I could anticipate a little bit like, hey, I remember I felt that and that. So it was kind of a mix of my first pregnancy and the one I was living at the same time, inspired by both, I will say.
We're experiencing technical difficulties. Your episode of Aren't You Crazy will be with you shortly. Pause.
Technical difficulties. Okay, I'm good. I'm back.
We're back with you again, Marine. Do you think that already having a child for this process was pivotal in your creative point of view of how you made the creative choices of mom to be and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, the first time you're pregnant, you're experiencing for the first time, and you don't have this looking back to it and say, I could have talked about it or film it. I mean, I would have never thought of filming it the first pregnancy because you don't know. But having lived my first pregnancy, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, we can do that. But it was like also a timing thing because I'm like, okay, can we do that financially? And that's why I talked to Elea pretty early on about this idea. And she was, let's do this. And then after that, it happened pretty fast. We kind of created together.
So did you script out or even make bullet outlines of topic things all in advance? How prepared in advance were you?
Good question. So it was prepared, not that much in advance. So one day of shoot, we shot 7 episodes. So the first time we shot, we didn't know how many episodes we were going to shoot. So I wrote script for it. It was more like, because it's a voiceover, so I kind of wrote the idea, where it's going to be, the topics, stuff like that. And then I will send that to Elea. Okay, and she will prepare it. And I think it worked because we know each other so well, to be honest. And with Willem, who also worked on Chickpeas, he's the DP, cinematographer. We know each other very well. And so we didn't really need that much prep. Every time we shot, it was like 7 episodes total. And then, yeah, we will do everything ourselves. So my main thing before the shoot was to prep the costumes, props, and just make sure I had the list. We didn't shoot in the right order for the episodes, like the living room and then the bedroom. And then, so I had to change a lot, like a lot, and make sure like, oh, okay, my hair is down, this one, my hair is up, this one. So I had to keep track of that. And I'm pretty good with that, thankfully. But yeah, that was kind of my job to keep track of all of that. And then I let Elea work on the shot list. I knew I wanted like a 30-second format. And that's why I told her from the beginning. And then it was pretty fast because we just know how to work with each other.
Well, to close down this wonderful episode, Marine, thank you so much for being here with us today. And what would be your best learning highlights of this experience, including your creativity as the process of being a mom and while being a mom, making your life creative and including your kids in this idea of being a constant creative, which whatever circumstance, whatever place you're in, however much time you have, however much time you can devote yourself to, what could inspire someone else to connect through your story?
I mean, I think especially for artist moms, like artists like you guys, when you become a mom, it's easy to lose yourself because you're not creating right away. And I really remember that I was missing the creative part so much. And I know maybe people who are not creative, it's hard to explain and to understand for them, but like you need to create. It's so important. Or you're going to die. But like, I know it's kind of, but you know what I mean? Like you're dying inside. I felt like that a little bit when I had my first kid because I'm like, it's driving me crazy, like crazy. Having kids is not the end of your life, It's not the end of traveling. It's not the end of going to restaurants. It's not the end. And yeah, they have a bedtime, whatever, but maybe not on the weekend and not on the holidays. My son, like we went to a Broadway show, to his first Broadway show last year, and he was 4.5. He loved it. And I was so happy to share that with him. And I remember because I have a baby sister. She's not baby anymore, but she's 17. So we're like 18 years apart.
Wow.
And I was acting in France and doing plays. And she started coming to see me with my parents when she was 2 years old. And she was great. She loved it. And she was so into it, and I think it's so important to have your kids being a part of it. And the more you include them, the more I want them to be creative too.
Exactly, like including them in your life, in your essence, in who you are, instead of creating like a separation from that part of you that, they will discover eventually. Because what they say, no, as long as the children are with you and they have your attention and your love, it doesn't matter what you do. Obviously, You're not going to take them to a stripper bar, but, like...
No. But then, I always feel like you have to be flexible also. That's one thing. Because, as a mom, you have to be flexible as a creative mom because, sometimes you plan on doing something and then, the daycare calls you and he's sick and you have to pick him up. So your day is ruined,
How inspiring it is for me that I'm not a mom, that you have that relationship with your children and that you create so much. That brings me so much inspiration and so much joy. So I really appreciate your time.
Just do it. People want to do stuff, but they never do anything just because they're scared or they wait until like it's perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Never going to be perfect timing. So I'm like, just jump,
Jump from the cliff! Dive into the rocks!
I know it's hard, but jump!
Oh, that's nice.
That's great.
Well, thank you guys. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Yeah, you too, lady. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm sure you loved this episode. Before you go, here are 3 ways you can help us keep things crazy.
You could just leave us a rating or share this episode so more people can access this content. Easy peasy, right?
Feeling ultra crazy?
Donate to the show by clicking the link provided in the podcast description or on our Instagram's bio.
I'm sure you will.
Stay crazy out there, y'all.
Stay crazy!